morning. Happy Tuesday. The time is 6:30 on this May 30th. I'm Caitlin Heck here with Wanya Reese and meteorologist Alex Forbes.
Oh man, it seems like it's an absolutely beautiful start to the day thus far, Alex.
It is. The sunrise across central Georgia has just been stellar all morning. We've been taking a live look at downtown Macon. Now let's check out Dublin this morning. You can see it's coming above the horizon. Officially rose about 3 minutes ago there in Dublin. Temperatures, though, they are cool. 56 in Macon and in Warner Robins. In fact, let me flip this over to the map here. We can get everybody here on the action. 55 in Cochrane and in Eastman, 58 in McRae, 54, like I said, there in Dublin, 59 in Milledgeville, 57 waking up in Montezuma, and 58 waking up in Monticello this morning. So the radar is quiet across central Georgia. Not seeing anything this morning, not expecting to see anything. There's the surface map. You can see a front down to the south. That's part of the reason why we're so cool this morning. We're able to get down into the 50s as opposed to the 60s where we should be for this time of year. Also high pressure over northern Alabama. You can see just keeping this area quite dry across the southeastern United States, at least for now. That is until we get into the afternoon. So warming into the 70s between 9 and 10 o'clock, eventually to a high temperature right around 85 today. We do have a small sprinkle chance in and around central Georgia, only about a 20% chance of rain, but still it's not zero, but that is also an 80% chance of staying dry. Humidity, though, is on the increase beginning today. We'll take a closer look at that and the temperatures that are still, believe it or not, below average in just a moment.
Thank you, Alex. New information in the shooting death of a man in Warner Robins.
Police say he's 48-year-old Anthony Presley. Houston County Coroner James Williams says it happened around 12:45 yesterday afternoon on the 100 block of Wyndon Way. Police say Presley was already dead when they got there.
Well, this morning we are continuing to follow the search for a swimmer who went missing at Amerson River Park. Morning reporter TJ Anthony is live in studio with more details. Good morning, TJ.
Good morning, Caitlin. Look, today marks day 3 of searching for 20-year-old Raymond Ellison. He disappeared Sunday on the Ocmulgee River at Macon's Amerson River Park. Crews searched for Ellison. I mean, you see it right there on your screen, on land, water, and air yesterday. Witnesses say Ellison was floating behind them on an inner tube, but when they looked back, he was gone.
We haven't found him on shore anywhere, so we're working as a recovery.
And back in February, we brought you coverage of another drowning that took place at the same park. Now, it was the first one of the year at that park. Recovery teams spent several days searching for the body of the 22-year-old Javon Whitus, and crews shut down the park as they looked. Taking a closer look at Georgia, we see more than 100 drownings a year. As you may expect, most happen during the summer months. The State Department of Public Health says the two groups most at risk are children 4 and under. The rate 3.2 per 100,000, and young men in their late teens and as early 20s, rate 2.4 per 100,000. Now the state says men nearly 4 times are at risk at 1.9 per 100,000, more likely to drown than women. And it says African American teens in Georgia are slightly more at risk than whites as well. Now, both rates are above the national average.
Well, thank you so much, TJ, for that story. The CDC says drowning is the leading cause of death for children under 4 years old and the second leading cause for children 5 to 14 after car crashes.
In response to the death back in February, Macon Bibb enacted some more safety measures at Amerson River Park. Since March, no one under 16 can enter the river there without a personal flotation device and adult supervision. Violating those rules could get you fined up to $500. You could get community service or even jail time. Now, the county recently approved some safety changes at Lake Tobosoffke as well.
Just to be reassured that they know how to swim, they know how to take care of themselves when you're not around.
My grandfather just thought it was just something, important that, everybody needs to know how to swim because you never know, what situation may come.
Brothers Anthony and Brenton Hightower learned that swimming is important, and they're making sure their kids know that too. They remember their family making sure they could swim in case anything happened. Mike Land, a site manager at Lake Tobosoffke, says an important tip is to just be aware of your personal swimming ability and keep an eye on your kids and keep them at an arm's reach.
Even though we have lifeguards and stuff like that, we may be, trying to watch an entire area, so it helps us more if the parents are with them as well.
Now, we devoted a whole 30-minute special to help keep you safe in the summer, whether you're on the water, at the beach, or even behind the grill. Watch our summer safety special right now. It's on 13 WMAZ+. Download the app on your Roku or Amazon Fire TV, and you can start streaming whenever you'd like.
The Georgia Department of Transportation predicts the worst of the holiday weekend traffic is over, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't still be careful out on the roads. GDOT expects the normal weekday commute times to return this morning. Also returning this morning, normal construction. The state suspended lane closures related to work zones over the weekend, but crews returned to work and brought those lane closures back up at 5 this morning, so be careful on the roads, family.
AAA says Georgia gas prices are now 8 cents lower than a month ago, and the state average is 88 cents cheaper than a year ago. The average cost for you to fill up your 15-gallon tank right now is $48.75, which means most drivers are paying about $14 less at the pump. The reason? Less demand in oil after a slowdown in the economy.
Get ready to pay more if you use Georgia Power. Starting this Thursday, the state's Public Service Commission approved the 12% increase earlier this year. Georgia Power says it raises the average monthly home bill from about $16 a month. So that's going to go from $131 to $147. The rate hike will raise about $6.6 billion from customers over the next 3 years to help cover rising fuel costs.
Now, that rate hike may have you looking for ways to cut back on your utility bills. Georgia Power recommends keeping your air conditioner set at 78 degrees. In my house, that will not happen, but they do recommend also using a programmable thermostat, maybe some fans to help with the airflow. Andrew Vickers with Georgia Power says you should also close your blinds to help keep the heat out.
Also, think about airflow in your home. If you think about your air vents in your home, make sure there's no curtains or furniture blocking those. Also, it's important to change your air filters in your air conditioning.
Some good tips. Tomorrow you can land a job without ever leaving your home. GDOT wants to fill 60 new positions in its HERO program, which helps clear roadways and get stranded drivers back on their way. This comes after they announced overnight services ending on July the 1st because of staffing shortages. The department hopes to get back to 24-hour service by next year. The virtual job fair opens from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. tomorrow. Candidates who get picked move on to an 8-week HERO Academy, followed by 4 weeks of field training.
Well, Mercer Law School has a rich history in Macon. It started back in 1873, which makes it 150 years old this year. The first classes happened in the Bibb County Courthouse with 16 students. Their tuition, only $80, but that was a lot of money back then. Today, Mercer is one of the oldest law schools in the country. Student numbers are certainly larger, but they still maintain that small school feel.
Today we have over 400 in our student body, but in the 1880s we had sometimes just one graduate, where a couple of weeks ago we had 125 graduates.
Now, the law school shut down during World War I. It did the same for World War II, taking a 3-year hiatus, and the Navy took temporary control of the building. Well, Central Georgia has tons of great grads, so we want to keep celebrating them to get to as many as we can. Noah Merity in Riverdale is an honor grad at Mundy's Mill High School. He is headed off to Georgia State for college. Hannah Hamrick graduated from Veterans High School. Your parents want you to know they are very proud of you.
Trinity Tyson graduated from Sumter High School. Your family says they are so proud of you for everything that you've done. And Kevin Jackson is a graduate from Southwest High School. He finished the year with honors. A big congrats to all of you. Keep texting in those photos of your great grads to 478-752-1309. Make sure you tell us their name, where they're graduating from, and why they're so great. And we're going to continue to share these photos right here on 13 WMAZ Morning. We could honestly do it all summer long.
I know.
School's out for the summer, and that means challenges for families who may depend on schools to help keep their kids fed. Find out about Central Georgia programs filling that gap. Plus,
plenty of people love throwing barbecues in the summer, but when it comes to grilling, there's some important safety tips to keep in mind. We'll fill you in coming up after the break. Right now it is 6:39, some great grilling weather as we go throughout the week.
Exactly. It seems like it's going to be a great weekend as of now to get out and go to the pool and grill. So how are things looking, Alex?
Sounds good to me. Let's do it. My job here is done this morning.
No, sir.
No, yeah, it is going to be great weather, borderline summertime weather, unlike what we've seen over the past few days. Looking live over downtown Macon. It's still a cool morning out there, but we are going to get a bit warmer today than we've seen the past several days. 56 is the current number in Macon. We are going to begin warming up now that the sun has risen. 57 in Warner Robins, 55 waking up in Bleckley County, 58 in McRae, 59 in Milledgeville, 54 in Sandersville, 57 in Roberta, and 58 in Unadilla this morning. So nothing to speak of on the radar picture, at least as of now. As we get into the afternoon, that will begin to change. But part of the reason why we're so dry this morning and why we're so cool is this front down to the south, a cold front, obviously came through the area, but that is trapping the tropical moisture down into the Gulf of Mexico. So we're not necessarily looking at the humidity and also not the heat that we would normally see here for the end of May. Here we go into the day ahead. Some scattered showers in and around central Georgia. Temperatures into the mid 80s relatively quickly. If you do see a shower today, not going to be too long lasting. They will entirely fade away into the night tonight, waking up dry for your Wednesday morning. Temperatures also not quite as cool. We'll be in the 60s as opposed to the 50s. But then for tomorrow afternoon, a couple more scattered showers. I think I bumped the rain chance to about 30% for tomorrow. It's 20% today. And then for Thursday, much of the same. We go into the 80s with scattered showers in and around the area. So if you do see a shower, again, it's not going to be long lasting. We're also not looking at the coverage area of showers that we would normally see here for the end of May, because our dew points, while they're in the humid range, they're not in the very muggy range. So we're not dealing with that level of humidity just yet. That would in turn cause showers and storms to really fire up and take shape across central Georgia. So on into Friday, a couple showers hanging around the area. The Make It Bacon back on Friday. There's Saturday. We're going to be mostly dry here in central Georgia, but if you're headed down to the coast, whether it's the South Carolina beaches, the Georgia beaches, or on into Florida, especially on the Atlantic side, you're going to be looking at widespread showers and storms down there. Once we get into Sunday, much of the same along the coast, just a couple scattered showers here in central Georgia. So it's been no secret. We've been dealing with a cool stretch of days. I do think that's going to continue at least into the next few days. Now, I just called it a cool stretch of days. Relatively speaking, for this time of year, it's a cool stretch of days. We've been below average, 21 below average days in May so far. Our average high is 89 for this time of year. So every day we're below 89. It's going to go down as a cool day, with air quotes around that cool part. So 70s by the mid-morning hours, 80s later this afternoon. That will be our high temperature with that small sprinkle chance under partly cloudy skies. There's the 7-day forecast. 84 for tomorrow. Again, a 30% chance of rain tomorrow. 86 on the first day of June. That is the first day of hurricane season, the first day of meteorological summer. 87 for Friday. That rolls us right into the weekend. 89 on Saturday, 86 on Sunday. So yes, great pool weather, great grilling weather. Get outside and enjoy it.